folks, this is Vincent Natalie with Dad's Gaming Addiction, and today we're going to quickly review Letter Jam. This is a cooperative word game for 2 to 6 players. It's for ages 10 and up, and the average play time is about 45 minutes. This is one of Idalee's favorite games. She brought it out for us to play, and we have covered it before on my channel. Now, this is another one of those cozy game nights. Yeah. In fairness, we did play last night, but due to technical issues, we are re-recording this. So we kind of did a hasty setup for example purposes only. These are our score sheets from last night. But anyway, so what is Letter Jam all about? Well, the idea of Letter Jam is you're going to get a secret word, and you don't know the letters in your word. And you're trying to figure out what the letters in your word is so that you can hopefully spell something in order to, well, cooperatively win the game. So my goal really is to help the other players figure out their letters, and everyone else is going to help me figure out my letter. Now, I can't see my letters. As you can see, I've got one of my 4 letters here put into this little display, and she can see it, but I can't. So using clues, she's going to try and help me determine what my letters are so that I can form my words. And there's a lot more to it than that, but that's the general gist of it. Is you're going to get some kind of secret word and you're trying to figure out the letters for it. Now, there's 2 ways to set this game up. You can either take all of the cards, and shuffle them up and give each player like an equal number of piles. So like I would get half the deck and she would get half the deck, and then you can look through them and then pick out a word. So just as an example, I could go through half the deck or whatever and just try and find like a 4-letter word, 5-letter word, something that we agree on. If she wants to do 6 letters and I want to do 3, I could do that. It's completely up to you. There's different difficulties, but I would go through this deck and try and figure out a word to give to her, and again, she wouldn't know what it is. And likewise, she's going to do the same thing for me. She's going to go through her own deck, pick out a word for me, and then this is what this is here. Each player does that for the other players. And the other way to set that up is, instead of doing it the manual way, there's an app that is now available. It wasn't available in our previous video a couple of years ago, but it is now. And the way that works is, let's just pretend that this rulebook here is the actual tablet or phone that you have. It's going to say, hey, hold up a random letter from the deck here. So it's going to scan this, and then it's going to say, all right, that's a good card, put it down here. Okay, next card, please. It's going to scan it. Okay, now put it up here. Okay, I'll do that. So you're just scanning the letters one at a time. You don't know what they are. You're scanning them. And the computer is forming secret words for all of the players. And then it might go, oh, that's a bad letter, because the letter that it scanned, there's no word that could possibly be made with this letter. So it's going to ask you to discard it. And it'll say, do a new letter. So you'll keep doing this until you have the specified number of cards in each pile. Like I said, you can configure how many letters you want in each word, and the computer will accordingly make those adjustments. So that's 2 ways to do it. Either give each other a secret word or have the app do it for you, and that's how that works. And the way the game is played, you're all going to look at the letters you can see, and it's every letter except your own. So I can see O, D, her letter, and then Y and E over here. And there's also a while that I can use. And my goal is, I need to come up with a word that uses her letter and would be obvious to know what that missing letter is. So like, I'm not going to come up with an example here, but I would try and come up with, like, I would say I can come up with a 6-letter word that uses your letter and 3 of these letters and a wild. And you can use letters twice. So I could use this letter twice, I could use this letter twice, or 3 times for that matter. You can use a letter as much as you want. And you can also use the wild as much as you want, so as long as it's the same letter. You can't have this be an H and a D or whatever. It has to be like an A, always an A for that word. And yeah, that's it. And players will like sort of pitch what their clue word is. I might, like I said, I might say this is a 6-letter word. It's your letter and 3 others in the wild. She might say, well, I can come up with an 8-letter word because she's really good. And I'm going to use your letter twice and these letters here. And then I'm not going to use the wild at all. She might say something like that. And then when everyone has pitched what they can do, the group will collectively pick someone to give their clue. And at that point, they'll lay out the order of which the letters appear in that clue. So I don't know if you can come up with a word with my letter or not, but
with your letter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Make a quick.
So I can do. Okay, so it's gonna involve 3 people, right? Non-persons.
These are non-persons. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Or 2 non-persons, excuse me, and 1 wild.
Go for it.
So I could do 1, 2,
okay,
3, 4, and then 5.
Okay, so I know I would write down on my sheet over here, under my 1 area, I would write the letter D. Number 2 and 3 would be O, D-O-O. 4 would be wild, so I'd put like an asterisk in there, and then 5 would be a question mark because that's my letter, number 5. So I'd have to try and figure out what that was. Now that could be a lot of things.
You can write it down too if you need the visual.
Yeah,
as well.
I've got chicken cooking, so if you're sizzling in the background, that's what that is.
I see.
Yeah. So because she gave the clue, she would take a red token.
Yes.
Okay, and based on the player count, you can only have so many of these before other players are forced to give clues. Once all the red ones are gone, you're free to do the green ones however you see fit. But you can only take so many red. So that encourages other players to give clues too. And this 7, 8, 9, 10 down here is the piles of cards for the non-players. You're going to have a deck of 7, a deck of 8, a deck of 9, and a deck of 10 for the non-players. When you get through them by using these letters during a round, like once you use a letter, you discard it and then you put the new one in its place. And when you get through all of the cards, you get to add that green over here. Now, at the end of a round, let's say that based on her clue, let's say I'm confident that I know what this letter is now based on her clue. I can say, okay, I'm locking this in as a particular letter, and I'm going to put it back down into my area and then move on to the next one. Okay? Or if I'm not feeling confident, I can leave it up there. But the longer you leave a letter up there, the more the rounds will go, and then you may be stuck with not ever getting to these letters to figure out what they are. So you're trying to, again, using clues that other players are giving you to figure out what these letters are, to form the word that was given to you by another person or the app. Okay, and that's what you're doing.
And once you once you lock it in, or like every round, you can take off, right?
What do you mean?
Once I've used this, the next
That's what
round.
I said earlier. Yeah, once you use a letter, like she used the 2 and 3 here and the 1 here, of the non-player people. Yeah. The 2 and 3 and the 1, these would be discarded, and a new one from these piles will be put here. And when all of these cards have been gone through, you can then put this green token. Yep. When all of these cards are gone, you can put this green token, add it to the flower, so that you have more rounds to work with. Okay. Yeah. But yeah, ultimately, you're either going to lock in all your letters and then everyone else is going to do that at some point before the time runs out, or this time is going to run out and people still have letters to figure out, in which case, you have to try and make some deductions. So, and that's what this little sheet here is. This is the game that we played last night. And in the first round, she gave me a 1, which was my letter, and then 2, 3 were N's. So it was either An or In, and we weren't really using proper names, so we went with that. I went with I, and I added that down here to my first card would have been I. And then she gave me question mark RAS, and I'm like, okay, bras, that's an interesting thought. So I couldn't think of another letter, so B, so I had I and B here. And then she gave me acid in the future, so I thought that was A. And then TIT question mark wild. I'm like, title, that might be title, so the letter L. But I wasn't sure, because, I was confident, because BAIL is bail. That is a word that could have been formed via the app, because that is a word. And then I'm like, I'm just going to leave it up there in case, just in case. And then she gave me ballast. So, well, I didn't know it was ballast, but B, wild, LL wild, S question mark, which was my letter. So I'm like, okay, so what if this is a T for ballast? Because it's double A's is the only thing that would work here. So I put a T here. So bait is a word that I could have formed. And I'm like, what in the world is this word then? And I'm like, oh, geez. So we're getting into non-family friendly territory.
Yeah. And as you can see on my sheet, I was actually trying to visualize what it would look for him, so as not to see like if it could be misconstrued to anything else. And I did not think of title at all. That was so good.
Yes. So
it's a mess.
Yes. It's amazing how the mind works with different people, isn't it? Yeah. So yeah. Long story short, she's gonna keep her own secret little like decoder, as it were, and then I'll have my own, figuring out my own letters. She'll be figuring out her own letters. And again, this will continue until either the time runs out, or in which case we have to try and guess what our word is, or, you know, everyone passes because we have locked in all of our letters and there's still time left. And that's it. Now, there's other things we didn't touch on. Like there's bonus letters, for example. When a player is completely confident and they've locked in all of their letters, they still contribute to other players by taking a card from the deck and adding it here. It's not part of their word at all. It's just an extra letter that players can use to help form words. And if someone uses my letter in a word, this is a bonus letter here. If someone uses it, I have a chance to guess what it is. And if I guess correctly, then I can put it in the middle of the table for other players to use in the future. Once it's used, it gets discarded. Or it can stay there. At the end of the game, if someone hasn't completely locked in all their letters, they could possibly use it as a letter.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, because at the end of the game, what's weird is you don't have to guess the word you were originally given. So as long as you guess a word that makes sense, you still win.
Or you still score.
You still score, that is. Right. There is a scoring system in play. It's on the reverse side of this, but there's also, this is for the 6-player version. But yeah, there's a score on the reverse side of this. As to what you would earn. So I'm not going to get into scoring. We never use it.
Yeah.
We like to play just to have fun.
You might have mentioned it too, but you can be the clue giver like twice in a row, 3 times in a row.
Yeah, you're just limited by how many red tokens you're allowed to have based on player count. So in this 2-player game, she can have 3 red and I can have 3 red. So if she's given 3 red clues in rounds 1, 2, and 3, I have to give the clues for 4, 5, and 6, rounds 4, 5, and 6, even if the letters are awful. Yeah. But once all the red are gone, then we can go back and forth however we see fit with the green ones. So that's that. So what makes you like this game so much? I'm curious.
I love the whole Scrabble feel of it. I like word games. I like the decoding of it too. It's like awkward guests, but word based. And I don't know. I like that whole logic-y puzzle type of ordeal. And it's fun. It's a fun little co-op game. I love that it's co-op. So
yeah. Now with 2 players, you're gonna have a different experience, I think, because the bonus letters I was just referring to, there's really no reason in a 2-player game for her to continue giving me a clue, because like I'm locked in. My goal at this point is to help her figure out her letter. Yeah. So, like, there's no point in her ever giving me a clue or using my letter. You know, no one else is in the game to use my letter either to help her out. So you're never going to see bonus letters really in a 2-player game. So your mileage with 2 players may vary depending on you know how you like to play. But 2 players, I think, will play a lot differently than 3, 4, 5, 6. In my opinion.
I'm going to play this with 12 people one day.
One day.
We're going to have two
copies. Yeah. So as far as like what I think of Letter Jam, the rule book, in my opinion, and I don't know if it's just my ADHD brain, I cannot learn the game with this rule book. I've tried many times. It skips over a lot of things. Like here's players sit around the table so that every player will be able to see 5 letters once the game is set up. The numbered tokens, the setup card, and the wild card go in the middle. Then set up your secret word. It doesn't say and set up like 1, do this. Step 2, do this. Step 3. It just like, it sums it up. It gives you an overview and then a picture, but it doesn't tell you how. My ADHD brain has a hard time with that. So, and figuring out rules after the fact. Maybe this rulebook is fine for normal people, but I had to watch a video to understand how the game is played.
Yeah, this is a complex hangman. It's just hangman on steroids. So the rulebook is kind of a little bit confusing, and the game isn't that complex, but it's explained pretty complex.
It's explained poorly, in my opinion, and the rulebook explains it poorly. Like once it clicks, this game is like a 7 or 8 out of 10 for me.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm coming back to it after years of not playing it and trying to relearn it, it's like a hard 3 out of 10. It's a frustrating 3 out of 10.
Yeah.
Once it clicks for me, I have fun with it.
Mm-hmm.
The process of learning the game is not fun because I'm having a hard time understanding and putting it all together. Oh, my chicken's done.
Oh, food is ready.
Food is ready. Okay, so I guess that's our cue to wrap this up here. So again, you like this game a lot. This is one of your favorite games.
It's one of my It's a 10 out of 10 for me.
Really?
I love this game. I could play this like multiple times.
Do you have any beef with it? Or no?
Do I have any beef with it? No.
Okay.
I really don't.
Fair enough.
I guess the only beef is that I can't play this solo.
Yeah, solo would be an interesting...
Mm-hmm.
There's got to be some kind of solo rule that we could come up with. But
maybe with the app, maybe one
maybe
day.
with the app, yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, well, there you go. That was Letter Jam. I recommend it. Just keep in mind, again, with me, my learning curve was a bit weird. Like,
yeah, it's not explained very well. It's kind of a hard game to wrap your mind around.
Right. Once you get the general overview of it, it kind of clicks. But until then, it's frustrating to learn. At least for me, it was. But once I learned it, it was good. So the component quality is good. The co-op aspect is good. I'm not a big word game person, and that's another kind of tick against this game for me. But again, once you get into it, the fact that you can use multiple letters, like you can use the same letter twice, the fact that you can use a wild and even bonus letters in like a 3+ player game, it gives you more options to form your words with. So that's kind of cool too. And you can make the game more casual too if you want to, like, I don't know, give yourself an extra few rounds. Don't even worry about score. You can totally do that.
That's totally fine.
Yeah. So, well, there you go. That was Letter Jam, and this is Vincent Lee. Thanks for watching. We'll catch y'all next time. Take care.
Bye, guys.